we sit a lot of times and we say if I had that opportunity, if I had that money, if I was in their position, if I grew up here, I would, right? And I'm here to admit that I actually caught myself doing that, and then I immediately had to check myself. And I thought, hey, what a great conversation for a podcast. That's what it's about, right? Welcome back to another episode of Who Got the Aux. So, first of all, I was saying that if I find you while sitting in this beautiful studio, right? So you can see how I had to check myself immediately. But I think I was looking at, I don't know, this month in November as we wrap this month up. I've talked about it on previous shows, but between shadow ban or just my stuff not connecting, I'm humble enough to admit that maybe I'm not connecting currently. There was a couple of days, a couple of stints where I just had doubts, like, man, and I'm looking at other people have success doing things. I'm like, you see people with kids. I'm like, well, if I had kids, I would do this. And you see people dancing. And I was like, well, if I played an instrument, if I could sing, because that seems like the stuff that goes. People love singing, dance routines, and was that a bird? And children, right? And I just saw, I remember just, one of those frustrating days that I had. I was just like, man, if I could, let me do that. I could. And then I was like, bro, there are many people who would look at my situation and go, if I had that studio, I would never leave it. I would stay up 24 hours. I would sleep in that thing. I would put content out day after day after day. And that immediately got me out of my funk because I was like, yes, while I may not be in a position of what I think is success and what looks like is great, I am in a position at the end of the day, right? And it can get lost on us. I can admit that. Other people can admit that. You can get caught up in living life and caught up in wanting to just be great and want more and just forget that you actually have more than enough resources to actually succeed. And I felt, I wasn't even going to talk about it because it's almost embarrassing to even say I had that mindset, but I did. It's tough when you put in the work like I'm doing and you set it up and you try to give this aesthetic and be consistent, do all the things that are said to be right. And then you just see people pop off because they're doing lip syncing or because they went to a restaurant and there was a rat in their food, 1 million views. This is like, but that's the game. That's the game, right? That's the game. And I know that if I wanted to, I could. That's the other thing. I'm choosing to build slowly with this aesthetic because, like I always said, when it does pop off, when I do get my viral video, when I do get the attention, I want to be known for doing this. I was telling someone, I was like, I don't want to go do something and then that pops off and that's where I get all my followers and all that. And then people become disappointed because they think I'm the dude that does that, but I just did it to go viral. And really I do this, if that makes sense. Right. So I journal, once every end of the month, I keep a tab on how I've been doing from the previous month. So I can say confidently that numbers have gone up, subscribers have gone up, views have gone up, followers have gone up. Has it gone up to the rate where, I can quit my job? No, but you got to take a win with a win for a win. A win is a win, right? There you go. So I wanted to pose that question to you and in your situation, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people in life, we naturally do it. And you're probably sitting there saying, if I would, right? If X, I would be, right? What I want to do is help you realize that you are actually in position to do X where you are right now, believe it or not. And some of you probably, I get it. Some of you probably like, there's no way, bro. Like some people are dealing with deaths. Some people are dealing with depression. Some people are dealing with financial loss. Some people are dealing with, whatever the case may be. And so, of course, it looks like, no, this is the lowest of the low. And for some, that may be the truth. You may be at the lowest, but, the cliche statement, there's only one way and there's up, right? If you're at the lowest of the lowest and you can't go no lower. Maybe you can, though. But I wanted to pose that question to those out there to maybe you can probably check yourself, right? Like you're probably sitting there. What's an example? I guess the example I had was there's probably somebody sitting in the same position that wants to have an online presence, right? You probably want to start a YouTube channel. You probably want to start, you want to be on TikTok. You want to live that life. Everybody wants the results of what we see. Like if you told me that all I have to do is just make videos with my significant other or my family and people would pay me millions of dollars to travel the world and eat food and make goofy videos, we all would do it, right? Of course. We would all quit. Most of us are working jobs we don't really care for, right? Shouts out to those who are on a career path that they always wanted, they went to school for. That's a blessing. God bless you. But most of us are working jobs we did not dream we would do or imagine we would do or daydream of doing. So you want the results of the social media of that freedom, right? Not having to work 9 to 5. You could be there for your kids. You could do all that. But you probably feel like you're in a position where I heard people say, they're not good in front of the camera. They get nervous. They don't know what to say. They don't feel like they have anything to offer. They don't blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's somebody who wants the same thing as you, and they probably don't have an iPhone, right? You guys probably look at, and I'll say me, for example, or people who are online with bells and whistles and go, well, if I had a camera, if I had a room or lighting, if I had that, if I had the confidence and all that. And it's just like, there's a two-part to this. One, all you really need is a phone. If it's one thing I've learned from joining TikTok February of this year, wrapping up this year, you really only need a phone. The rest of the stuff is cool. If that's how you want to present it, if that's how you want to come, that is a choice. That is a preference. That is not an obligation. That is not required. All you need is a phone. And some of you have more than that. So I'm going to break it down for you. Very simple. Let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. You're like, I don't have a camera. I don't have a mic. There's equipment that you can get that's very cheap. But that's if you wanted to go the equipment route. There are people on TikTok right now. There's this one guy, I don't even know his name, but he does all his videos in front of his mirror. He's just recording himself in front of his mirror. But the stuff that he says is funny. He has comedic timing. He makes great points. And he has millions and millions of followers, millions and millions of views, right? So you can see how that would frustrate someone like me. Like, I respect this game, but at the same point, it's like, hey, had I known, right? But, I want this for myself, so that's why I did it. But I'm saying he's recording himself in the mirror. That's breaking all the rules, right? He doesn't have a logo. He doesn't have a banner. He doesn't have a clip art. He doesn't have hashtags. He doesn't have an opening to his video, a closing. He doesn't use captions. All that stuff that they teach you that you need for a video to go successful. He does none of that, and he wins. And that's my point, is that if you are wanting, now if you don't want the social media thing or the internet thing, and you don't want that life of freedom and being paid for your presence, because that's basically all the internet is you're building a presence to get paid for your presence, right? So if you don't want that, you cool with working the job, the 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you less than. That doesn't mean you're not striving. That doesn't mean you're not capitalizing on your opportunity of life. It means nothing. It means you want what you want and you're okay with what you want. That's fine. This message is for the people that want to jump out but feel like they don't have enough. Like I said in the beginning, the if I had. This is for these people. You can do it with your phone. You don't need a mic. You don't need Photoshop, Adobe Premiere. You don't need anything. You should do it with your phone, right? Because that's how the internet, especially TikTok, is rewarding people. Just authenticity, just who you are, consistency. You don't need that. So if you're in your head about, I'm just going to wait until Black Friday or Black Friday pass or holidays so I can save up to buy this camera, it means nothing. I can tell you. If anyone can tell you, I can tell you. I have a Sony a6600. I'm using a Shure SM50 mic. I have a Rodecaster thing. I have a MacBook Pro. I have the nice blue arm, Yeti arm. I got lights. I got LEDs. I got all that GVM lights, all that stuff. And again, I'm okay with my progression because I'm on my path. But go look at my numbers. I'm not ashamed. I have 370, and I know these numbers because I just did my journal. That's why I know my numbers. I'm not like looking at my numbers all the time. But yeah, I have 370 followers on Instagram. I got about 320 something on TikTok. I got 93 subscribers. Facebook, I just started that page, the business page. I have 37 followers. And that's from working consistently from February to today, November. What's that? 10 months? That's 10 months of work. So if you want to go spend all that money for 10 months of work, and y'all know, if you follow me, you know, I got 300-400 videos in rotation. I got podcasts. I have YouTube videos. I have TikToks. I have Reels. I have Shorts. I have playlists out. I am working, and it's going to pay off. I'm not trying to be discouraging, but what I'm trying to tell you is, you want to sit up here and say you need all this equipment, look at my numbers. And then go look at a person on TikTok with their phone and look at their numbers, right? The numbers aren't everything. I'm not saying buy into the numbers and the numbers is whatever, but at the end of the day, it shows that it's not the equipment. And I think that's the message. It's not the equipment, it's you, right? And while I'm saying this is why I'm still working on me, because I'm still figuring out, I was like, okay, the equipment is the equipment. That ain't what we need to adjust at this point. I don't need to move anything around. I don't need to do anything. Now it's about me translating myself in this form. So the reason why, if you're sitting here like, well, you got all the equipment and you talking about you don't need it, why you need it, it's because I have a bigger vision of what I want. Like, I want to create a show with a studio presence, something that you look at, like how you look at the set of Friends or the Fresh Prince. You'll see this and know that, oh, that's a set. And that's just what I decided to come with. Mind you, my story is I've done a podcast, 100 plus episodes before. We had the cheap mics, cheap everything. We budgeted everything, and I did that. So when I took a break, if you never heard the story, I speeded up. Long story short, I took a break, and I decided when I was going to come back for one last hoorah, because I've tried to rap, I tried to make beats, I've said all this, that I was going to go get all the stuff that I've deprived myself. And I was like, that way, whatever happens, I can never say I didn't put myself in a premium opportunity. This is explaining why I went out and got this stuff. Because sometimes, you'll rap and be like, man, if I had that mic, my vocals would sound better. Like, man, if I spent the money on that, I could have made better graphics. But, I'm trying to budget out, because that was me. I was budgeting out, doing it. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to get all the nice shit. That way, that ain't an excuse. So it's not an excuse now. There's no way I could complain about this situation. But now it's about me, and it's about connecting, and it's about people seeing it and hearing it and wanting to follow and wanting to keep up. But that's the real thing is what I'm getting at. So when you're questioning if I would, you're in a position to do everything you say you would do right now. Today. YouTube channel, whatever it is, you can do it today. And when you actually start looking around as far as resources, you might realize you have more than what a person who started their YouTube channel today has. There are people starting their channels today with nothing, with a dream. It's like, hey guys, bad angles, not shooting with the right light. They don't care. They're just getting on, because that's what it's about. Again, this message is for the people who want to be in this space. It might not make sense to you if you're not trying to get in this space, like, what's the problem? But if you're in this space, you understand how important that is. So instead of sitting around and saying, I'm going to wait on this deal, instead of sitting around and saying, I'm going to wait on this, I'm going to wait on the new year, the top of the year, I'm going to wait till I get this, I'm going to wait till you're just going to be waiting and waiting and waiting, because life happens. While you're waiting, something's going to happen. Then now that money that you saved, got to go there, car breakdown, your kid needs something, got to go to the doctor, emergency. Waiting. Start today. If I was you, I would start today. There's no time to waste. You have a story. You do things. You have a perspective. At the end of the day, I tell people all the time, if you want to start something, start with yourself. Don't try to be anything else but yourself. Tell your stories, how you grew up, where you come from, what you're going through, what are your interests, because that's how you build your audience. So you don't have to be anyone else. You don't have to have anything else to succeed. You can just be yourself. You'll be okay. That's my message. Before we get out of here, thank God they were saying there was a shooting at Savannah High, but then now they're saying that it was appeared to be a hoax. I said this on a Shade Room comments. I don't know if I ever said it before, but I was like, if the news stayed local, like I shouldn't know about a hoax or shooting in Savannah right when it happens, right? But I said if the news stayed local, it might decrease the amount of copycats and encouraging people to do such a thing. I said, unfortunately, when this type of news gets lots of impressions and comments and views, and then you're in a society that's brainwashed to worship going viral, then if there's somebody halfway sick in the head or halfway doing it, that might push them over the edge. Like, I don't know the right way to say it, but it's like if it's happening, if I'm in California and something's happening in Georgia and it's a Georgia issue, I shouldn't know about it until it's something global. Like, you know, it's a hoax. It's fake. That should have just stayed in Georgia. But now you got everybody riled up in Texas and California, and maybe you done triggered somebody to do a hoax in Nevada. You see what I'm saying? And so thank God. I mean, the schools, I never imagine. It sucks for the kids because I think about the mentality. I was going to school every day. The last thing I thought about was a mass shooting. You was worried about like earthquakes, tornadoes, and gang members showing up from other schools to fight. That was about it. Rivals. Never thought. Now these kids every day, you don't know if it's going to be a shooting. That's awful. Sucks for the kids. 21 Savage and Nas dropped a song, One Mic, One Gun. If you were following it, 21, I think, was in Clubhouse. They misconstrued what he said. I'm not sure. He was saying Nas was irrelevant, which you can't really misconstrue that. That was just a dumb statement. But Nas, being who he is, the OG, got with him. They made a song. Check it out. I haven't heard it yet. I'm going to listen to it. Just dropped today. And the last one, it's funny because this has nothing to do with their situation, but Gold Digger, the song, you know, Kanye West, they settled to pay $200,000 a month in child support. Now, I don't have kids and I ain't married and I am married. Ooh, I never been divorced. So you can't put a price on what it is. A lot of people in the comments are like, yeah, you never know their lifestyle. They got bodyguards. And I was just like, it's funny how someone's child support settlement can trigger comments, arguments, and debates and people being mean to each other. That has nothing to do with the situation. But anyway, I was just saying, like, damn, that gotta suck. Like, Kim Kardashian, that Kardashian family is billionaires. Kylie's a billionaire. I'm sure Kim's a billionaire. And it's like, she don't need it. But I mean, you know, child's like, again, I know parents, like, you don't know that. I get it. But I'm like, bro, shit, I'd be pissed as fuck if I had to pay $200,000 to a billionaire. But good for them, man. That's the life. That's their life. Do what they got to do, man. Thank you for listening. If you're listening, thank you for watching. If you're watching, I don't think that's my closeout, but I appreciate it. WhoGotTheAux.com, full audios. WhoGotTheAux on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. WhoGotTheAux_ on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, do whatever you feel. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I'm all good with that. I'm gonna show up every day regardless. Yeah, man, one more month. This is the last day in November. This year, it was like summer, hot. And I remember just waiting like, man, I just can't wait till it get cold. And then Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Now we hitting Christmas, New Year's. Crazy. Life's crazy. But yeah, don't wait. You can do it right now. That's my message. I will see y'all at the next episode. Peace out.